Welcome to the Sales to CEO podcast. This is your host, Louis Heron. This is the only automotive podcast that shows you how to go to the next level. It is my personal mission to coach and inspire and motivate you to go from sales to dealer principal or any level you desire. Stop making excuses and start making the adjustments toward the future you want. And today we are talking about stop lying to yourself about the car business. Welcome to the Sales to CEO podcast. I know I may have captivated you with that title, right? Stop lying to yourself about the car business. Guys, we've got a phenomenal episode today, sharing with you some things that I want you to take a moment and step back, and you're in a phenomenal business in the car industry. It is one of the best businesses I could think of where you can actually turn and make money day one with minimal education. I mean, look, I wasn't the brightest. I didn't get phenomenal grades in school. I never finished college, right? And went on to be a dealer principal of not one, but two, three dealerships. So look, I know there is a phenomenal opportunity for you, but you got to stop lying to yourself. And I'm going to cover some things that on its face, you may step back and say, okay, maybe I am, but I want you to really be honest with yourself, because I think when you're in the industry for a period of time, you start to have the tendency to lie to yourself when you start to get discouraged. And we're going to cover those lies in just a moment. Now, when one is destined for great accomplishments in life, the preparation for such a journey will always be quite extensive. And it reminds me when I think about how extensive the car business is, all of these lies we tell ourselves go back to the extensive accepting personal responsibility. It's funny because you really look at some quotes. There was a quote I read the other day. It says, defeat is the mother of success, right? And you think, man, that's kind of oxymoronic. How in the world can defeat and success be in the same quote? But if you really think about it, defeat is the mother of success, right? Where does learning take place? Yes, you learn when you succeed, obviously. But most of the learning is when we failed, when we have fallen back, when we've taken personal responsibility, when we've actually accepted the things that we know we can get better on. We've actually stopped lying to ourselves about our success or our perceived success, right? How many times do you ask a guy in the car business, how much money do you make? Oh, I make 10 grand a month. Well, what he's telling you is he's made 10 grand once or twice, but he doesn't average 10 grand a month, right? It sounds subtle. It sounds small, but we've all done it. Every one of us has done that in the car business. I've done it. I remember in sales meetings, I would tell people about certain dealerships that I've ran in the past and say we were selling 400 cars a month, when really in retrospect, we really were selling 365 cars a month. Well, 365 is not 400, but we just tell ourselves these stories and these narratives go on in our minds and we start to believe them, right? So I think it's important to back up and let's isolate. This is going to be a two-part series. I had so much I wanted to cover. Part one's not good enough. We'll have a second part that will follow this episode. So I want you to catch both parts. But I'm going to tell you real quick, here are the 5 lies we tell ourselves, and then I'm going to back up and I'm going to go through each one of these in a two-part series. The first lie we tell ourselves, there's no traffic. Second lie we tell ourselves, I can't do this. The third lie we tell ourselves is, I'm not getting paid enough. The fourth lie is, my schedule sucks, right? I just have a bad schedule, or the hours are terrible. And the fifth lie is, it's going to be hard for me to get promoted here. Now, what I want to do is I want to break this down, and to start, I want to just let you know that there's a difference between truth and facts. Let me say that again. There is a difference between truth and facts. For example, number one, no traffic. That's lie number one. Is it factual there are times where we have no traffic? Absolutely. Is the truth is we have no traffic? Absolutely not. We do have traffic. So again, and I could go down the list, but I want to identify up front, please don't get caught up with facts versus truth. We want to focus on what's the truth. Let's get right to it. Let's talk about number one. Let's talk about this no traffic thing. First of all, where can traffic come from? If you really think about traffic, the first thing most salespeople, sales managers think about, and they want to blame the GM or maybe the dealer, we're not spending enough money. And look, I can tell you from personal experience, I've worked for people where I felt like we weren't spending the money we needed to. I felt like we could do better. Now, let me give you an example when we're talking about traffic, and even an example that I can give you with myself. I remember working for somebody one time, and they didn't want me to spend the amount of money that I wanted to spend. And I'll be the first to tell you, Louis is an advertiser. I'm a marketer. I'm a promoter. The TV, the radio, the Facebook, the social media, you name it, I'm all over it. I think it's important. I think it's vital. I think if you believe in yourself, you believe in what your product is, you believe in your message, it's got to get out to people, right? I believe that. But there's moments where I was not allowed to spend the amount of monies that I felt like we needed to spend. And the basis of that was our total lot traffic, our total web traffic, and our total phone traffic. We know, and if you don't know, I know, that the total close percentage as it relates to phone, lot, and web should always be somewhere around 16 to 18% total traffic. We were closing about 11%. We were struggling in that area. And so the contention was, why am I going to spend more money to advertise and promote for you to close at 11% when we're already missing 5 to 6% already? On the traffic you have, that's already 60 or 70 deals that I don't have to pay for. I need you to find that traffic. I need you to find those deals. When I looked at it that way and realized, you know what, there's a point there. There's an actual point. Does that mean I don't want to promote? We shouldn't promote? No, it means I needed to get better and make sure I was doing what I needed to do. So as a salesperson, let's look at your traffic for a moment. Aside from the lot traffic, let's just look. I have to ask you a question. How often are you asking for referrals? At the time of delivery, are you getting your 5 referrals? In your delivery process, after the sale, are you asking for the referrals? After the fact, when you're doing your follow-up call, a month later, are you asking for referrals? 2 months later, are you sending a video to your sold clients, finding out how they're doing and asking them once again for a referral? That's just one segment of what you could be doing to generate more traffic. Referrals. I already know, I can tell, I've been in a dealership world for so long. I know the quality of the referrals that are being asked for in a dealership. I can go to probably 9 out of 10 stores and they're not asking for referrals collectively as a group. The salespeople don't do it for whatever reason. They don't buy into it. They don't buy into the fact that they don't want to ask the customer for a referral. And guys, think about this for a minute. If you are totally passionate about your job, how you conduct it, your professionalism, your family, and you don't believe enough in yourself, you're going to feel uncomfortable to ask for a referral. You have that low self-doubt. You deserve the right to ask for the referral. And if you've given exceptional service, there's got to be somebody else that they know that service could be provided for. Let's talk about the next area, service drive. We've talked about this in past episodes. I've talked about being a member of the acquisitions team or the exchange team and talked about script. And again, on Sales to CEO University, man, there is a ton. There's over 50 videos. There's over 120 pages worth of PDFs of everything you'd want to know to get you from sales to sales manager. This is included because I believe as a manager, you got to show people how to prospect the service drive. But you got to first learn how to do it. And then you got to live it out and do it. But you have somewhere between 30 and 100 ups a day in service. And you're talking about the traffic. Traffic's bad. Traffic's slow. Do you realize back in the service department, you got 30, 40, 60, 80 customers a day coming in, driving your product, of which some of those would love to get out of their current car? Again, you can get bitter about the situation at your dealership, or you could just get better. Go on to prospecting. Listen, everywhere you go, you eat, you meet a waitress, you go to the gas station, everywhere you're prospecting, cards in pocket, ready to meet and greet people. They're all driving an automobile. Why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you stick your hand out and do a meet and greet on a total stranger? Because they're a stranger? What do you think pulls up on the dealership every day? Strangers. The only difference is they're in the market for a car. Everybody else doesn't realize they're in the market for a car. See, because customers will buy a car when they run into a salesperson. And somebody that knows about their product, believes in themselves well enough to understand and identify somebody may want to buy a car. You stick your hand out there, prospect. How many of your friends and your family members know what you do for a living? How many times have you ever been in a dealership where one of your buddies came in and bought a car and they never knew you sold cars? I mean, guys, from a prospecting perspective, it's endless, but you're going to sit there and say that the traffic's slow, right? We generate traffic. A true salesperson, a true sales manager, a good general manager, we find ways to generate traffic. I can tell you specifically when I was in the scenario that I was in where I couldn't spend the money that I wanted to, guess what I did? I figured a way to how to maximize, and guess what our close percentage went up to? Back up to 12, 4, 14, 13, 15%, because we worked on it, because we focused on it, because we weren't complaining and whining about the situation of not having to spend. We got better at what we needed to do. And that's what you're going to have to do every single day, is just get better. Now we're talking about these lies and we're still stuck on there's no traffic. right? We've been through. We know we've got the service drive we can communicate with. We know we've talked about prospecting. We know that we have another area that I guarantee you is another weakness aside from referrals is your sold customers. So I'm going to ask you, do you have a strategy? You've sold customers. You've been to the dealership for a year, 9 months, 3 months, 3 years, 5 years. What is your strategy? You've already sold these clients. Do you send them a newsletter? Do you speak to them on their birthday, their anniversary? Have you ever thought about inviting one of your customers to lunch? Think about it. I mean, literally, within a week of selling a car, when you offer somebody who you just met, hey man, listen, I was just thinking about you. I just want to follow up with you. Just didn't know if you had time to go to lunch today. That sounds odd. Nobody does that. And guess what your customer will do? Thank you very much. I appreciate it, but I can't make it. 9 times out of 10, the customer is not even going to take advantage of that. But if you're thinking ahead, and you're thinking about the client and you're thinking about referrals and you're thinking about connecting and you're thinking about building a relationship, making a friend, you've already sold a car. You got to get more deals from the customers you've already sold. You got to do the things that separate yourself from everybody in the industry. You're not the only one that doesn't work your sold customers very well. You're not the only one that doesn't have a strategy. My question to you is, and I'm not getting on you or talking at you, I'm wondering just what is your strategy? Develop a strategy, figure out a strategy. You've got e-leads and CRM tools and all kinds of things to help you put together a strategy where you can connect with these customers you've already sold. And then lastly, we're talking about this traffic being slow. Again, this narrative that we tell ourselves, guys, I'm just going to tell you, Facebook, social media, Instagram, branding, advertising, marketing, you're a sole proprietor inside that dealership. I'm telling you, you've got to figure out a way to work this deal. Your traffic is slow. You need to learn how to generate your own traffic. You need to find a way to get that done. Again, I've got ways I can help you. I've got a complete 31-day schedule. You don't have to worry about what to say, and you don't have to worry about any day that's going to be missed. You've got it all ironed out every single day. You've got to find a program, something that totally automates what you're doing. On Facebook, you've got to take yourself to the next level. You've got to make yourself the automotive expert, which means you just don't talk about, here's our car and we're taking $5,000 off. Click the link and call me today. I mean, those that do that are the only ones that do that, and that's all they do. You've got to be the expert. You've got to be in the service department talking about the specials, in the sales meeting. You got to do interviews with some of the employees. You are the expert in the field. You got to talk about automotive advancements. You got to talk about technology. Do a walk around. You've got to broaden your horizons on what you're doing as it relates to social media, because there's so much available to you right now and nobody's doing it. At least not doing it at a high level. You got to come up with your own branding, right? You create your own Facebook page. So simple. You go to your Facebook and you go to settings, you go to create new page, and then bam, Louis sells cars. Click, save, boom. I just now have a Facebook page for my business. It's that simple, right? Come up with something that works for you. Maybe you start every video where you're opening up a car door. And what you say is you're opening, hey guys, it's Louis, and I'm just opening up the door of opportunity for you here at ABC Ford. I mean, again, every video you start the same way. You're the guy that opens doors for them, and whatever. You've got to come up with something, your own personal strategy to find ways, because ultimately there is traffic. You got to create the traffic. And again, if you don't have the ways to create the traffic, click the links below. Get a hold of some course material. Go to one of my boot camps. Listen, find a way to get trained. Find a way to become an expert. Get skilled up. It's all about getting your skills up and your mindset up. And I promise you guys, the lie of there is no traffic is a narrative that is broken. It's not the truth. It is factual on occasion. There can be a low traffic weekend, but overall, collectively, the no traffic lie is really all about you generating that traffic and taking personal responsibility. The last thing I want to make sure you understand is your own personal follow-up on your own traffic, the traffic that comes into the dealership. You need to know these numbers. 30% of all lot customers should close. 10% of all your web customers should close. Every phone up you get should be 20% close ratio, and all your campaign Facebook leads, all your campaign stuff should close at 10%. You should be closing 17% of your total traffic. That's something you need to keep track of. If you are not tracking where you're at, how do you know where you can improve? As it relates to B-backs, know this number. 33% of every customer that leaves should be returning back to the dealership, and of the 33%, 65 should be closing. Know these numbers, guys. This is your business. Your business. Of your appointments, 25% of the folks that you speak to should be appointments set. 50% of those should show, 50% of those should close. Those are the numbers and those are the KPIs that you've got to know. Okay, I'm off the traffic kick now. Hopefully you realize you got to dispel that lie. Lie number 2, I can't do this. Guys, what are we saying? When you run into those roadblocks where you feel like sales isn't for you or the car business isn't for you, I cannot tell you how many times I have sat in front of people when I'm running a dealership and they wanted to quit and lay down and do something different. And I saw something in them and got them to hang on, and those people ended up being managers for me. I'm just telling you, don't tell yourself that lie that I can't do this, okay? No one is born a great salesperson. Nobody. You don't come out of the womb just phenomenal sales guy. Doesn't happen. No one's a great manager. No one's a great leader. These are things that are developed, guys. So I have to ask you, do you train every day? Do you actually train every single day? Think of the NFL. These guys are professionals, make millions of dollars, yet every single day in all season, they're training. They're doing the basics. The NFL, it stands for not for long if they don't get the job done. And that goes for you and me if we're in a dealership world. If you're not getting the job done, you're not bringing value, you're not improving, you're not getting better, we don't stay there long. Go back to what I said at the very beginning of this episode. When one is destined for greater accomplishments in this life, the preparation for such a journey will be extensive. Guys, it's going to be extensive. You're going to have to put all in. You're going to have to do everything it takes to grow and get to the next level in this business. And first, you've got to accomplish the level you're in right now. It's all about your skill sets and your mindsets. And who's responsible to make that happen? You are. We could say it's your manager. If I'm a manager, I could say it's my general sales manager, my GM's responsibility. But who's responsible to grow me? I am. I'm the one that's responsible. I have to put in the work. I have to develop my skill sets, my mindset, my habits, the things that I do, my morning routine. I'm the one that gets up with a great attitude every day. I'm the one that gives the extra mile. I'm the one that does the sowing and reaping. I'm the one that puts in the work and the effort. Guys, you're the one. You can't say, I can't do this, because you can. And I can tell you from personal experience, if a 20-year-old kid, if I can do it, anybody can do it. I'm telling you, I did not know how to sell cars when I first started in this business in 1995. I had no idea. No one does. Okay, you have the opportunity. You've got to maximize that opportunity, and you've got to do it on a daily basis. I'm going to say this to you because it never ceases to amaze me. Maybe those that are listening now and many others that I've seen will drop $300 on a pair of shoes or clothes to look sharp every single day, maybe even $500 for a nice watch. But those very same people won't spend $399 on a program on how to close deals better, or they won't spend $1,000 to go to a seminar, or they won't go to any personal growth or development if it costs any money. Think about that for a second, guys. We're going to work on the outer appearance, but we're not going to work on the inside of us, of what's going to really, truly matter and make us better. You got to remember, no one is coming to save you. No one's coming to save me. You have to get better. Anybody can learn the car business. Guys, that's part one of the lies that we tell ourselves in this car business. This is your host, Louis Heron. I'm excited to bring you episode 2 on Stop the Lying in the Car Business. Again, listen, I hope you guys have a phenomenal day, phenomenal selling. Look, keep grinding, keep working hard, and let's get to the next level. Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to the Sales to CEO podcast. Look, real simple, do me a big favor. Number one, I'm totally grateful you took the time to listen, but share this, like, subscribe. This is how we build our network of growing people in the car industry to the next level. Again, like or share or subscribe right now. Until the next one, great selling, and let's go to the next level.